Good morning. It's Vlogmas Day 12. Good morning. I hope this finds you doing well wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. I'm glad that you're here today. I'm going to go in here and make a fresh cup of tea. Now, you know I've been doing the Advent calendar, the Char Brew 25 Days of Tea Advent calendar, and that's been a real treat for me. Today is day 11. No, it's day 12. We had 11 yesterday. Day 12 is right here. And it looks like it's a delicious black tea. Maybe not. Maybe it's a green tea. Let's open it up and see what we got here. Our teapot just went off, so everything is good. We'll open this right up and see what we got going on. I'm thinking it may be the chai tea. It tells you about the teas here on the back. I've shared that with you before. This one looks just a little bit more green than the black teas do. I thought at first it was black tea, but I see now that it's probably, I think it's the chai tea. Let's see what it is. I'm going to take a whiff of it here and see if I can think of what it is before I brew it. Yeah, I think it's the chai tea, which is good. It's the first one that I've had. It's the first chai tea that I've had. Go ahead and get it in the cup. Let it steep there for a little bit, and we'll see what kind of tea we've got. I'm going to go ahead and light this candle. I've had a wonderful morning. I woke up and everything was beautiful and quiet. I don't know, my wicks look a little weird in there. Don't know if I'm going to be able to light this candle. This is the candle that I bought buy one get one free at Dollar General when they had their Thanksgiving clearance. I've got one I got it at the same time. It's called Maple Butter Pancakes. I like to put the food smells in the kitchen. So I'm going to go ahead and try this one. It was also buy one get one free. So it was a half off candle that I got from Dollar General when they had their Thanksgiving clearance sale. Go ahead and get that lit this morning. I just like the warmth of the candles when I'm in here messing around. So that's why I like to light a candle whenever I'm in here. Now I've got plenty of other tea that I can drink this holiday. I've got to enjoy some of these gifts that I've got of tea for the Christmas. And so I've got a lot of goodness to look forward to in the tea department. Well, this morning I'm finally getting to that lip balm that I've been wanting to make. I'm finally going to get to it this morning and share it with you. Now I've got these little tins set out. They're just small little tins of graduated sizes. There's a larger, a medium, and a small. And you might use these depending on what you're going to take them. Like if you're going to take this for travel or in your purse, you might want just a small one. Maybe you just are going to use this for a different area than your lips, and you might want a bigger one or just a medium-sized one, depending on what your needs are, you can buy the container that fits whatever purpose that you have for it. I got these off of Amazon. Here's the product information if you're interested in that. 72 pieces metal. There's the all the information there. And I also got this little thing. I've had this little thing so long, I don't even know how long I've had it. This is like a little double boiler. Now I've got that water boiling in the bottom part. It doesn't have a handle. It's just a little pot. Here's this tiny little pot that I melt my beeswax in. And I love it that it has two little spouts, and it makes it really easy when it comes time to pour my product into my containers. So now my standard recipe for salve is 1 cup of oil, any kind of oil that you might need, to 1 ounce of beeswax. So that's what I generally use whenever I make any kind of salves or balms or anything like that. My water's starting to boil over a little bit. I've got quite a bit of water in here. I usually put more water than I need because this will boil down really quick. And if you're doing YouTube, you can get interested in something else. That water can boil away before you know it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these little containers right here ready to pour my product into them. I'm going to measure out my beeswax. I've got the beeswax that I've got right here. You can buy beeswax from local farmers. You can buy it from many places. I'm going to make a calendula lip balm or chap skin balm today. This is what calendula looks like. It's a flower, and I have plucked these off and dried them. And when I get ready to when I need to, I make an oil out of these leaves. Now, I didn't pluck these flowers off. I just went ahead and put the whole flowers in this oil. You can see the flowers down there. I dropped them in. You can see how yellow this oil is. I've had this oil steeping for quite a while. So I'll be using 1 cup of this oil. I will be adding a little bit of vitamin E. And all the oils together will total 1 cup. I pulled out the castor oil too, because castor oil is great when you're making any kind of moisturizing balm. You know, when it's cold and windy and this time of the year, the heat, if you're in different kinds of heat, it can just dry you out like nothing else. Now, I take calendula and put it in a bottle, and I also use it straight. Calendula infused oil on my skin just for whatever little area I might need it in. But today I'm looking for something a little more substantial. I'm looking for the balm so I can use it like a chapstick on my lips and in other chapped areas, maybe cheeks, up under your nose. If you get a cold, this is excellent to use up under your nose. You know how raw and painful your nose can be if you've got a cold and your nose just runs. This is a good balm for that. You know, it is fairly easy to make a lip balm. Or in this case, we'll just call it a skin balm. It may seem complicated, but it's really not. And what are the advantages to making your own products like this? I'm not so sure that it's cost effective. I'm not so sure you're going to save very much money doing it yourself, because it's just like back in the old days, it used to be cost effective for women to make their clothes, to make their families' clothes from scratch and patterns. Now, if you were to go find a pattern, buy your material, buy all the things that you need to make a dress or a shirt, it would be incredibly much more expensive than just going to the store and just buying something hanging on the rack. So I'm not so sure that economical reasons will factor into this like they once did. Now I've got my organic beeswax here. I'm going to take out a cup of that. And I'm going to melt it here in my little pot. Now I used to shave my beeswax. I would buy beeswax at the farmer's market or from a local farm, and then I would shave it. And it takes a little while to do that. Still perfectly okay to do that. You can buy beeswax in ounce blocks and just shave them as you need them. There is nothing wrong with that. But these little granules right here, the pellets, they call them pellets, they're so much easier to work with. And I find if anything is easier, you'll do it more often. Now I usually measure this out in ounces. I measure the beeswax out in ounces. I'm using slightly a little bit more beeswax than I usually do with the salve because, you know, I want it to be kind of like a chapstick consistency. I want it to be where you just not really dip up a lot, but you just kind of rub your fingers across and get enough product to go wherever you need it, mainly on the lips, like you wouldn't need a whole lot on your lips. Now I used a cup of beeswax that's about 2 ounces, maybe a little over, and what that will do is make a good consistency for this salve. Now I'm going to use 2 cups of oil, mainly it's going to be the calendula oil. But I am going to add some vitamin E and some castor oil. I didn't mean to spill that out. I was trying to look through the camera to make sure that you could see. I should have just focused on one bat. And there goes all of my good oil that I've infused with my calendula flowers. I'm going to let it drop, make sure I get all of it out. I don't want to waste a bit of that. Now I'm going to take castor oil and just make up the difference. And leave a little space for the vitamin E oil. Castor oil is a wonderful emollient. It's really great. It does so many things. All you have to do is just read the package to find out what all it does. It's just wonderful. Well, vitamin E I'm adding because it's also good for the skin. And I also need the natural preservative factors that come in vitamin E. So I also need that. I'm going to go up to 2 cups, and there we go. Now we've got all of our oils right here together, the calendula, castor oil, and vitamin E oil. And I've got my beeswax melting right here. I may have to get a little bit bigger pot, which luckily I have one of those on hand. Can go right into the little boiling pot here. I'm going to go ahead and add my beeswax to this. My little pot with the little spouts on it, I think it's going to overflow. I went ahead and got the scale out and weighed this cup of beeswax, and so it is more than 1 ounce. it's almost 3 ounces. But that's going to be okay in this case because I'm making that balm. I mean, yeah, the lip balm, which is going to need a little bit more thickness than my average salve. So 1 cup in this particular measuring cup. You know, they all vary a little bit. Measuring cups, the sizes, and the, you know, but it should hold like a standard cup on the inside, but you can tell most measuring cups vary a little bit. But I wanted to make sure I had an accurate equation for you to make your salve. I can kind of just eyeball it because I know what I want, but I don't expect that from you. I mean, if you don't make this a lot and you're not used to making these, you kind of need exact measurements so that'll help you when you're making whatever kind. Now, this is not a salve. It's going to be a balm. It's going to be a little thicker, like a chapstick. We're not going to be digging out a lot of the product. We're just going to rub our fingers across the top of the product with clean hands to get enough off to like put on our lips or just put in a little area. Okay, we got it melted. Now, I did use 2 cups of this, so that means I have about 3 ounces. So my balm is going to be really, really thick. It's going to be what I call firm. Solid. It's going to be more solid. So I may need to add just a little bit more oil than I normally do. I've got my 2 cups of calendula infused oil with the you know, when you put your oil in, it's colder than your wax, so it'll solidify just a little bit, but it'll come back to a liquid form quickly. So I used my 2 cups of calendula infused coconut oil, MCT, you know, fractionated coconut oil, and I used some, I would say about a half of a cup of castor oil, and then maybe a tablespoon of vitamin E oil. I like the vitamin E oil not only for what it has to offer in the moisturizing area, I also like it for the preservative effects it has to whatever you add it to. Vitamin E preserves, it has a preserving effect. Now I've got coconut oil here, and even the vitamin E is infused in coconut oil. You can see it down here. This is just from Walgreens. But if you read on the back here, let me turn this scale off. You know, I'm conscious about the batteries sitting here. There we go. But if you read on the back of here, the ingredients, glycine, it's in soybean oil, vitamin E, and it's in coconut oil. I didn't notice that it was in soybean oil when I first purchased it. I thought it was just in the coconut oil. But you can see here, it must be majority soybean oil, vitamin E, and the coconut oil. But coconut oil also has preservatives in it. It also has antibacterial properties that keep your stuff from going rancid quickly. I'm not going to add any essential oils to this. I don't need any scent. I'm not looking for anything to come out of this except just good old moisturizing properties to go on the lips and the different areas. Now I'll probably have more here than I have little tins set out. I'll probably have to put some more little tins out. And I am going to go ahead and pour it back into my little pot that has the spouts. And the reason I'm going to do that is it's going to make it much easier for me to pour. Going to make it much easier for me to pour into my tins. I'm going to keep it all together. I got to put out some more tins here. And I've probably made enough that I could give for Christmas gifts. I got out a few more tins here. Let me go ahead and fill them up. I do a much better job if I don't look through the camera. And I look at the little tins. Now, it won't take these long to cool off. I've got these filled pretty well to the top, and you can fill them pretty well to the top because there's the screw top lids. The lids actually screw onto there. While I'm letting these cool down, you can see the ones we first made have already started cooling down. I'm going to go ahead in here and sit down and enjoy my cup of tea. I'm in here in the living room. This is my coffee cup for today. I think it came from Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. I got it at the Ladies Fellowship by one of my secret sisters back in that time. Now, I have been going through all of my Christmas books. Now, I've got some slow cooking books out. I had Thanksgiving books out. Here's two of the Thanksgiving and Christmas. Because some of the same recipes I used at Thanksgiving I use during Christmas. And then I've pulled out all of my Christmas inspiration books. I love books. If you've been around, that's no joke. You know that about me. I have a whole library here in my living room waiting for shelves to be built. And so I just pull out these books for inspiration and to enjoy what other people have done for Christmas. Gives you ideas, maybe ideas for decorating your own home, or maybe just gift ideas. It's such a wonderful way to just get into the spirit and use some of your ideas. Here's a little holiday guide. Taste of Home cookbook. Look how cute those little gingerbread are. Oh, that's cute. One of those little teddy bear cookies, Teddy Grahams. The gingerbread's holding it. That's adorable. And then there's a lot of other books that I have here that I've picked up over the years. Here's one that's Creative Christmas Crafts, Celebrating Christmas, North Carolina Christmas. I mean, it's just a lot of different books here. I look for these all year long, and then I just put them in the stash that I have, and then I can go right to them whenever I want ideas. I think there's one over here that's an American Christmas. I think this one's beautiful just to use to decorate. If you had a coffee table where you showcased a beautiful coffee table book, this one's beautiful. It just says Christmas Treasures. Not sure where I picked this up at, but I really do like it. And this could even be an heirloom that you could share things with your children or your grandchildren and can read the Christmas story. Here's a Taste of Home Christmas cookbook. I'm Dreaming of a Green Christmas. This one's got recipes and ideas. Here's a couple of Thanksgiving books. An American Celebration of Family, Friends, and Food. And here's one, Williams and Sonoma by Chuck Williams, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Love to read through these books. And this one's a Williams and Sonoma American Christmas. How pretty is that one? Just lots of good Christmas inspiration here. No excuse to get bogged down without any kind of inspiration. There's a lot of inspiration out there if you just know where to look. I prefer books. That's no surprise here. And if I get a minute like right now where these books are, my Balm is cooling down so that I can put the lids on it. I usually put labels on them, but I was looking, I don't think I have any labels that's small enough for those real small little tins. So I may have to just write directly on the tin when it cools off what it is. I usually don't like to do that because then it can, rub off the label. If you label it even with a permanent marker, what's in there, it can rub off over time if you use it a lot. So I usually don't like to do that. I usually like to put a nice label on it, but I'm not so sure I have enough labels to label all those tins. Well, I'm letting it cool off. I'm going to read through my books, take a little break, enjoy this tea. It's really good this morning on a chilly day. It's another cool day. They're calling for it to even get colder, so it's even going to be colder. I have the grandchildren this weekend because it is my son and daughter-in-law's anniversary. And in my videos on my channel, I have wedding photos of their wedding. I was in the wedding, so I didn't take video, of course. And I would never use their video from their photographer because that's their own private records for their memories. So I would never ask to use them. But I did have a few photos, and I included the photos in there. It was a December wedding at a farm, and it was beautiful. It was simple and beautiful and lovely. It was just lovely to be there, and we had a great time. But I have those few pictures on there in that on my channel. If you look through there, I would go ahead and link that to you, but I have not got the link to that. I would have to look that up, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on right now. But you can browse through my channel, and it will say an entourage of wedding photos. I think it's included in the title, so it should be easy to find. And you can see, if you want to see pictures of that wedding, it was made up of mainly red dresses. I wore a red pantsuit because it was so cold. It was cold out there. It was an outside wedding. And the lady that owns the venue that they rented for their wedding, comes up to me and says, "This couple is an absolutely beautiful couple." She said, "I would like to use their photos on my website." And I said, "Well, you'll have to talk to them about that." And I said, "I can only take credit for one half of that beautiful wedding couple." I said, "The groom is my son." And so she says, "Well, they are an absolutely beautiful couple," and they really were. They were beautiful. And it was just such a beautiful wedding. It was just so sweet. They had been through a lot to get to that point, a lot financially, emotionally, and physically, and they were finally able to have their wedding, and it was a beautiful dream wedding. I just thought it was lovely. So if you want to see a part of that, then feel welcome to go through my videos, and you can see those pictures and sharing that with me. But I am doing Vlogmas, which means a video every day, and sometimes these videos are much more informal than my regular videos, and sometimes they're just like my regular videos. But I do the best I can to get something out to you with continuing to live life and putting the things that are important first, like living, breathing, family and friends, people. And so sometimes it's my quality is not what I would have it to be, but I'm having to make choices as to what I focus on. You know, I've always cared, since I've started my channel, I have valued my subscribers. I have valued the people that watch me, my viewers, and you know, I think about you, and I try to deliver what I think you can use, what might be beneficial or helpful to you in some way. I hope this video was helpful in educating you on how to make a lip balm, just encouraging you by having a cup of tea together and a good conversation, and entertainment, if nothing else. Maybe I look funny or something was funny in the video and you enjoyed it. And of course, you know, I always love to entertain you if I can. And, you know, I found YouTube to be an excellent source of learning. I've also found it to be great entertainment. And also, it just kind of knocks the edge off of maybe loneliness. You know, if you're lonely in any way, you can turn on your favorite YouTuber, your favorite influencer, creator, and you can be encouraged or find something that you have interest in along with your favorite YouTube creator, and it's just a wonderful thing. So whatever purpose you have in this video, I'm glad that you're here. I'll show you that lip balm or that skin balm as soon as it cools off. I'll show it to you. Thank you for letting me share my books with you and my cup of tea. You can share whatever you would like in the comments. I read my comments. I answer the comments. Now, maybe one day I'll get so big. Maybe one day my channel will be so big that I won't have time to answer those comments or not answer all of them, because I've commented on a lot of YouTubers and just heard crickets. Never heard anything back from them in any way, shape, or form. And it's always a little daunting, you know. And then you hear them, well, I've got so many comments, I could never get to all of them. And you just feel like you're in a sea of people that, you know, doesn't really matter when you don't get any kind of response to your comment, doesn't it? So I try to respond to all the comments I can, because I genuinely care about you, and I genuinely want to know about your comment. If I ask you a question, I genuinely want to know the answer. So feel free to let me know whatever you would like in the comments, and I'll be glad to read those, and I will get back to you if I can, because you're that important to me. I try to respond to the comments. Even with a heart or thumbs up. Here it all is. Here's all the beautiful lip balm. Finally got it done. Just in time for all the cold, windy, gale days that we're going to have. We're going to need some good skin protectant. These would be great gifts. I'm going to put the lids on them. Just a perfect amount here in these little ones. I have been waiting for this because, you know, I've had the chapped lips. My lips have been trying to get chapped. I've already got some on. You just put your finger across there, pick up some of the balm, the skin protectant, and put it on. And remember, if your nose runs a lot, you know how sore it can get, red and sore. This is an excellent balm for that too. And even your cheeks, if you're out in the snow or ice or cold and wind, you need a little bit of a skin protectant. It's great for your cheeks, your nose, lips, all those things that are cold and need something to protect them while you're out there in the cold or have been in the cold. Not only is it a great skin protectant, but it's also a great treatment once you have chapped lips and chapped areas. It comforts and puts a lot of good protection on that. You know, it's just beeswax, calendula infused, fractionated coconut oil, vitamin E, and castor oil. Thank you for letting me share that with you today, share my books with you. Glad you're here. Remember, subscribe, like, share, enjoy, comment if you've got something to say. I'm glad that you're here. And like always, until next time.